The truth is, it doesn't matter whether it's Rishi Sunak or Liz Truss who wins, because there really are two peas in a pod, both of them senior members in the government. Liz Truss, actually the longest serving member of the cabinet, who voted for all the things that she spent the last few weeks trying to distance herself from, including all 15 of Boris Johnson's tax hikes, including covering up for Boris Johnson's law breaking, including trying to change the rules when Owen Paterson was discovered breaking the lobbying rules. So Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, they're not the fresh start that this country needs. For that, we need a general election and the election of a Labour government, because either of these will simply be more of the same.
It's not very helpful, though, with the greatest of respect, Mr. Reid. That's not a particularly helpful comment at the moment, is it? Because you're not going to get a general election, not in the immediate term anyway. So what do you do now? What does the Labour Party do to work with the new Prime Minister, rather than just playing party politics, in a way that is going to help the people of this nation, which you say you want to help?
Well, actually, I think it's the Conservatives that have been playing party politics. Sir Keir Starmer, the leader of the Labour Party, several weeks ago now, came up with a fully funded plan to freeze energy prices at their current rate so that we can save households, families from increases in their energy bills that could go up by £5,000 come next April. Now, despite the fact that Sunak and Truss have been engaged in this leadership battle and fighting each other, trying to distance themselves from their own records, actually, neither of them has come up with a plan to deal with the single biggest crisis facing the country, which is in the cost of living crisis. It's the energy bills about to go up. Labour's already put our plans on the table. If you want to see cross-party working, then Truss, Sunak, whoever wins, can do another U-turn and back Labour's plans. It's there, it's on the table, it's fully funded. They've already done other U-turns, if we remember. They said they would never do a windfall tax on the energy companies that are making billions of pounds in surplus profits. Then they U-turned and they backed Labour's plan. They said they would never cut VAT on energy bills when we suggested it. Rishi Sunak ruled it out as Chancellor, then in the leadership contest said he would do it. Well, it's time for another U-turn, because neither Sunak or Truss have a plan to help families through this energy crisis. Labour's put it on the table. If you want cross-party working, they can pick up our plan and we'll vote for it with them.
Well, I was going to say, you'll be pleased then to read the reports Liz Truss is considering a freeze on energy bills. And in fairness, to pick up on Stephen's point, there's been this ongoing leadership contest, but behind the scenes, they've both been working on their plans. And as soon as they're in position, presumably we will hear more details about them. I just want to speak to you in your capacity as Shadow Justice Secretary, though. This barristers' strike beginning today. Dominic Raab coming out and saying that victims will suffer as a result of this. Your view?
Well, just on your first point, if they had a plan on energy, you think they might have mentioned it by now, since they're competing to be Prime Minister, and one of them will be walking through the door of number 10 tomorrow. But on the barristers' strike, nobody wants to see a strike in the courts. Barristers, in their gowns and their wigs, are not a naturally militant group. They've never gone out on strike before. In fact, what's going on is we have a broken criminal justice system, and Liz Truss was a former Justice Secretary. When she was in that role, she reduced the number of judges and sold off some of the courts, fueling what became the biggest backlog in our courts in history before the pandemic even started. So Liz Truss, I'm afraid, up to her neck in the problems that have fueled the crisis in the courts that has now resulted in this strike that absolutely nobody wants to see. Now, Dominic Raab has been invited by the Criminal Bar Association, who represents barristers, to sit down and have a meeting 3 times this year. On each occasion they voted for taking action. They invited him to sit down and meet with them and said they would not take action if he did that. He simply refused. We have a zombie government in so many respects. They're not doing the things that a government or ministers should do. Whoever ends up as Justice Secretary tomorrow, under whoever ends up as Prime Minister, they need to do what I would do, which is go and sit down with the barristers and stop these strikes before they add even more problems to this crisis in the courts that the Conservative government has created.